Hi, Pisces Sun and Rising. Welcome to your December 2023 Astro Update. It's Raina here. I'm recording this in mid-November, and I know some of you, maybe most of you, will be listening in November. So I'm just going to speak about December as being a little ways off, which it is. And really talking about what is going on even in November. So in November, Saturn went direct, on November 4th to be exact. Saturn went direct in your sign, and which is nice. I think that Saturn in Pisces can be good for Pisces individuals because you have your ruler in your sign as well. And although it is your ruler, it's Neptune after all. And sometimes, Saturn can give you a backbone and that discipline that Neptune discourages. So, on the first of the month, Mercury goes into Capricorn. And it's going to join Pluto there. So when Pluto retrograded, it went back into Capricorn, which is your 11th house of hopes and wishes, and friendships and groups that you belong to. Pluto can be trouble sometimes when it's in a certain area, no doubt about it. Trouble meaning that it challenges a person big time. With Pluto in the 11th, there can be power struggles with the people in your social life, whether it's friends, that all of a sudden it seems like you're coming to you're clashing more and more because you don't seem to be on the same page, and then you want to dominate the situation, or they do. With groups, you have to be careful because even though the 11th house isn't really associated with religion, it's any kind of group, and that could include something religious. And since you have Neptune in your sign, I could see the average Pisces person becoming easier to deceive because you have that Neptune haze over you. So realizing what Neptune can do to you and how Pluto in the 11th house can make you susceptible to some charismatic figure. But really, when Pluto was retrograding, you may have seen how you contribute to that in one way or the other. For instance, when we talk about cults, it's easy to look at the cult leader and say, wow, that person's really twisted. They just need so much control over people. But how many people are willing to abdicate personal responsibility and allow somebody to dominate them like that? So it ultimately always comes back to ourselves when we're dealing with whatever we're dealing with. It's not about blaming ourselves, but it's about believing that we hold some responsibility for the choices that we make. I don't think that's a radical concept. That makes a lot of sense to me. But some people really reject that. They don't like hearing something like that. Oh well. So anyway, now that Pluto is moving forward and you have Mercury here, if you stopped talking to a friend or a group of people, you may reconsider. And it's funny, that brings me to the fact that Mercury's going retrograde here on the 13th of the month. I'm sorry, not in that. I'm sorry, it's going to go back into the 11th. It's Mercury's going to start in the 12th house and then go back to the 11th house. So, you may reconsider some of the issues that you have dealt with. If you were blaming other people for it, while Pluto was retrograding, you might have seen how you played into it, and you can work with it now. On the 4th of the month, Venus goes into Scorpio, fellow water sign, and this is going to affect your ninth house. In the ninth house, that we're talking about foreign travel or foreigners. Venus here can mean meeting or maybe reestablishing a connection with somebody who's from another country or who is from a different race. And Venus in the ninth house can also maybe give you money so that you can travel. Remember, this is in December, so it might be holiday money. And you might be very excited because you've been wanting to take a certain trip. On the 6th, Neptune goes direct at almost 25 degrees of Pisces. So your ruler does go direct in the month of December. Neptune retrograde may have been difficult for you, Pisces, because Neptune is your ruler and it was in your own sign, in your first house, because you may have been forced to face some truth about the way that you look or the way that you act. And with Neptune going direct now, you can be more of your idealistic self. And the 12th of the month, there's a new moon at 20 degrees of Sagittarius. This is falling in your 10th house of career. So new opportunities, new attitudes, when it comes to whatever it is that is your career, could emerge for you at this time. But the very next day, on the 13th, Mercury goes retrograde at 8 degrees of Capricorn. So Mercury starts in that 11th house, but then it goes back into the 10th house on the 23rd. So there could be something about a long-range goal that you have that clashes with a career goal or a career, something that is just part of the job description of whatever your career is. And you may be saying, at one time, this career was in alignment with what I'm about, but now not so much. And that could definitely impact your future with that particular career. On the 21st, there's the winter solstice or summer if you live down under. And the sun goes into Capricorn, so the sun is going into that 11th house, and this is a power period because it's the sun going into a cardinal sign or the beginning of a new season. So that could be in the 11th house. You might be more sociable at this time. And it's right before Christmas, so that isn't a bizarre time to be, really social. On the 26th, there's a full moon at almost 5 degrees of Cancer. That is in your 5th house of romance. So, very interesting, Pisces. Are you falling in love with somebody? Maybe this is something that has been brewing for a while and it's finally blossoming into love. This is a great time for conceiving children. fifth house can be conceiving children. This is a good time for being very creative. On the 30th, Jupiter goes direct at 5 degrees of Taurus. It was at 5 degrees that we had a lunar eclipse in Taurus back October 28th. For you, this is the third house, which is Gemini's domain in astrology. And so it deals with the mind, it deals with teaching and learning. Jupiter going direct here, if you're a Pisces individual who's a teacher, and maybe you've been out of work or you've been underemployed, Jupiter has been retrograde for several months. Maybe it's been a bad semester for you, although even Jupiter retrograde can be rather benign. But if it just fell off, see if things start to flow more now. And you may have more work to do than you know what to do with when it comes to, in particular, business affairs or like tutoring. If you're a writer, you could be like uber prolific. So yeah. Anyway, this can give you luck in writing and other forms of communication in the internet, Pisces, so keep that in mind. And yeah, so that's what I have for you. I hope that this resonated. If you would like a private reading, the link is below. Take care. Bye.